So look, you watched my last video where I gave you the 3 best mods to do to get your dream car, the Porsche 997 Turbo, from its stock 480 horsepower to now tuned with some bolt-ons to 630 horsepower. But guess what? You're driving that thing around, you've done some rips there in third gear and you're having a blast, and all of a sudden the clutch is gone. Well, why would it be gone? Well, this car probably had 50,000 miles because it's used and now almost 10 years old. But more importantly is the stock clutch just isn't designed to last when you start getting up there in the 600 to 700 horsepower range. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to tell you about what are the best clutch kits to use when you need to upgrade your Porsche 997 Turbo. And for you guys with 996 turbos, bonus, this clutch works for both vehicles. So let's dive into it. Now the 997 Turbo definitely had some improvements over the 996 Turbo. Even though it uses the same factory clutch and flywheel, the hydraulic assist and all the other components really made shifting the 997 Turbo a little bit better. But at the end of the day, with more horsepower, you can have issues with the clutch slipping. Factory clutch discs are usually a full material disc to allow easy engagement on and off. That, as well as the flywheels, are usually dual mass flywheels, and these flywheels are heavy. That means that they take a lot of inertia to get moving. So when it comes to upgrading your clutch, there are many different options to look at, not only brands, but functions. So you've got clutches that have full material, just like stock, but that material might be a little bit different type to give it more grab and grip. Then you have clutches that use a puck design. Those you'll see you'll have a little puck each very section. Sometimes those will be a 6-puck or an 8-puck clutch. For full-on drag cars, you'll even see these clutches as a 3-puck design, which means you are revving that thing up and then dropping it and going. Very rare do you see someone driving a 3-puck clutch on the street. And then the other option for these Porsche supercars is a twin plate design. A twin plate clutch is a complete unit with the built-in flywheel, and it's got dual discs. So those discs interact with each other to help grab and hold the power so they don't slip. Typically you have a clutch and a pressure plate with the flywheel, and when that presses on there, it grabs that pressure plate and controls the resistance and how much grip it has there. With the twin disc, you have multiple plates doing that to really hold that extra power. People upwards in the 1,000 horsepower range will run a twin plate, but a lot of guys will also run a twin plate even in your 500 to 7 horsepower cars because they want the advantage of the bolt-on flywheel as well as the grip and easeability of being able to drive that twin plate clutch. So since there are many different manufacturers out there that make clutch kits, everything from Spec to ACT to Sachs and more, we particularly like the Clutch Masters clutch kits for the Porsches. That's because Clutch Masters actually take OEM clutch pressure plates and clutch discs and remanufacture them with their material to create their own clutch kit. So when you have a factory Porsche clutch kit, that is your pressure plate and that is your clutch disc. Let's keep the flywheel out of it. That clutch disc has some springs and material on it. Now what Clutch Masters does is they go in and they retransform those OEM components. They will do a couple different things. Now for the 997 Turbo, when I personally had the car, the clutch kit that I liked is what is known as their Stage 3, or what would be a FX250. This is a full face clutch disc. So it's very easy to engage and drive on the street and holds the power. That's because they use a material that they've created called Fiber Tough. And this Fiber Tough material coats the entire clutch disc. So when it engages to the pressure plate, it has a very, very firm grip to hold that power, but because it's a full disc, it is extremely usable. Now I've used Clutch Masters 6-puck design on one of my cars, but if you're looking for a streetable vehicle, a puck clutch is very difficult to drive. Even though the 6-puck is very close to each other, it's difficult to get that rev for a street car because you're stopping and going at street lights. So when you come to the street lights, you got to rev the car up and really hit it. Last thing you want to do is stall at the light and look like a total jerk. The Clutch Masters FX250 is a great clutch kit to do for the 997 Turbo. Now you have a couple options to look at when you're replacing the clutch for your improvement and to help hold that horsepower, and that is with the flywheel. The flywheel, like I said before, is a dual mass flywheel. A lot of people, you'll read old 6-speed online forums where they talk about you need to have a dual mass flywheel, and that's not really true. A single mass flywheel or an aluminum flywheel will help improve the car tremendously, and that's because that flywheel doesn't weigh as much as the stock heavy one, and so its inertia to move is much less. Just like having lighter weight wheels, lighter weight brake rotors, the less your engine has to try and move something, the faster it will. So a lightweight flywheel is a great option to do because it will help that car rev quicker. And when you're getting into the revs quicker, you're talking about building boost quicker, and you're talking about 0 to 60 quicker. Clutchmasters uses the aluminum flywheel, which is a direct bolt-on and works with their clutch kit, or I guess you could use it with a Sachs or another one. The thing you got to remember about a single mass aluminum flywheel is, because this is lightweight, when you put a flywheel like this in your transmission, you're going to hear some additional chatter. Clutchmasters Stage 3 FX250 full face discs with their fiber tough material and the single mass aluminum flywheel is a perfect combination for the 997 turbo. If you want to get something even better, then you want to take a look at Clutchmaster's twin disc setup. The Clutchmaster's twin disc uses dual 8.5-inch discs with the built-in flywheel. Now this entire thing not only saves weight, but also has a replaceable disc. That way for you guys that are doing some serious drag racing, launching, track, time attack, speed shifter, airplane, whatever, thingamabobber in a straight line, you can easily replace just the disc. You don't have to replace the entire clutch kit. So this becomes something that is not as consumable as a standard clutch kit. Now I also ran their twin disc setup on my 997 turbo when we had our GT30 setup with 800 horsepower doing things like the Texas Mile and road race. This clutch is very easy to drive. You do have to get used to it because the pedal feels slightly different, but it is very smooth because it's got those dual discs engaging at once. So I definitely recommend for guys with the 997 turbo, if you're looking for a clutch upgrade and you don't want to do a standard replacement and you're going for more horsepower, look at the Clutchmaster's twin disc. This has been proven to hold up for 1,000 horsepower, and if you're going to go beyond that, Clutchmasters can fine-tune these clutch kits specifically to your needs. So hopefully you've seen these different options that we have available for the Porsche 997 Turbo, and as I said, as a benefit, these clutches also fit the same in the 996 Turbo. These are all clutches that I have personally used, so I'm very confident in how they perform for your needs. So if you have any questions in regards to Porsche clutches or Porsche tuning in general, hit me up, leave me a comment down there, let me know what you think, and please subscribe and like this video. All right guys, hope to give you some more Porsche knowledge soon. We'll see you at the next one.